I want to know what comes to your mind when I say these two numbers, 4 and 20, 420. Most people are going to laugh and say marijuana or Bob Marley. I personally know this because I'm from Austin and everyone gets stoned that day. Also, 420 is Hitler's birthday. I know this because my best friend has the same birthday and she would always complain about having to share a birthday with Hitler. But today I'm going to talk to you about April 20th, 1999 in Littleton, Colorado at approximately 11:19 a.m. I'm going to tell you the story of the Columbine High School shooting, the aftermath of the victims, and the after effect on our lives in America overall. Most of you have probably already heard the story of the Columbine shooting since it is the worst high school shooting in the United States. But let me just start with reminding you what exactly happened that day. Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris were the two shooters. They had alarming incidents prior to April 20th. They were arrested for stealing. They would film themselves shooting guns recklessly in the wood. They were part of this gothic group in school, and they would play war in the middle of the hallway with fake guns, pretending to shoot themselves. Eric had also threatened to kill a kid over the internet and also publicly stated that he wanted to kill other people as well. Something you might have not known about the Columbine shooting is that it did not go according to plan for Dylan and Eric. According to CNN, Dylan and Eric had arrived at Columbine in separate cars around 11:10. They went to the cafeteria and placed 2 duffel bags with 20-pound propane bombs to go off at 11:15. The bombs were supposed to go off during the cafeteria while there was the most students in the cafeteria at that time. And so it would be killing the students and also luring them outside of the school where Dylan and Eric would be standing with their machine guns, shooting them as they're leaving the school frantically. Obviously the bombs didn't go off, so they had to put matter into their own hands. At 11:19, Dylan and Eric, dressed in trench coats, went outside Columbine High School and began shooting. They went inside Columbine High School to the library where they gunned down most of their victims. At 11:35, they had killed 12 students, 1 teacher, and wounded 24 other people. Shortly after 12 o'clock, they turned their guns on themselves and killed themselves. This event affected people who were wounded and the families who lost their loved ones and the student body in the high school overall. So now I'm going to tell you what the aftermath of the victims was like. With the mourning of the parents who lost their child and the family that lost their dad and their husband, they wanted to make sure that whoever was held responsible for aiding those kids with guns was punished. According to History.com, Mark Maines was sentenced to 6 years in prison for selling the guns used in the massacre to Dylan and Eric. Philip Duran was also sentenced to prison time because he was the one who introduced Dylan and Eric to Mark Maine. There were multiple lawsuits against Dylan and Eric's family, the gun store, and the local police department. Most of them were dismissed later in court. This was the family's way of coping. Not all families participated, but most of them did. I personally can't even fathom what the student body in high school itself went through after this tragedy, but they handled it as well as anyone could imagine. May 3rd, Columbine students attended Chatfield High School. The school day was divided where Chatfield High School students would attend in the morning and the Columbine students would attend in the afternoon. August 16th, Columbine High School, newly remodeled, reopened with 2,000 students. They showed up for school and they were guarded by the parents and teachers that led up to the school, guarded away from the media. Columbine Memorial opened September 21st, 2007 at Clement Park in memory of the lost victims of the shooting. A family that had a huge positive reaction from this is Rachel Scott's family. You might be thinking of Rachel's challenge that you might have heard in middle school. Rachel Scott was the first victim in Columbine's shooting. She was sitting outside of the school eating lunch with her boyfriend. Rachel's Challenge is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to creating a safe and connected school environments where learning and teaching are maximized. They motivate students to start and sustain a chain reaction of kindness. This shooting did more than affect Littleton, Colorado community. The shooting caused an aftermath throughout America as well. I'm now going to inform you how Columbine shooting has affected our lives in the United States. There were multiple laws that happened for the education institutions throughout America. According to Huffington Post, America enacted zero-tolerance rules regarding disruptive behavior and threats of violence from the students. Allocations for the Department of Education Safe School Programs has put in 6,300 police officers in public schools after Columbine shooting. While multiple laws were made, more and more rules added safety for the student, teachers, and schools. After Columbine, many states and school districts made quick moves movements to increase school security. After Columbine, states started requiring school shootings with lockdown drills, similar to fire drills and disaster drills. After the shooting, there were a lot of gun control controversy issues. The weapons used in the massacre were assault weapons with high ammunition that would hold up to 52 rounds. The shooting rampage at Columbine High School shocked the nation and briefly increased the support for stricter gun laws. Today, I have shared with you the story and background of Columbine High School, the outcome of the victims in the school, and the post-conclusion on our lives in America. Columbine shooting is much more than a mass public shooting statistic. It's a day that changed lives in America forever. April 20th, 1999, many hearts were broken, families lost their loved ones too soon, and sorrow and hatred entered their lives. Even though it was a terrifying and mournful day, some did try to make a positive twist from their grief, Rachel's challenge being one of them, making a kind and thoughtful chain reaction one day at a time. Americans also learned from this incident and made new laws and programs to help prevent something like this from happening again. Next time you hear 420 or on April 20th, take a moment to remember those who had their lives taken too soon and those who had lost their loved ones, and realize how blessed and fortunate you are.